And welcome back everybody to part 3 of our programming series right here for our Node application. Let's recap from last time. I used Bootstrap to clean up this page here, and I added a little menu right here, a drop down menu, and the drop down menu has a login link and a add new menu link. So those are the pages that we're going to create today. So let's add this login form right now. How it will work is when you click on this link, a form will show right here that will have email and password. Email is the same thing as the username. So let's go back to our Visual Studio Code. I'm going to stop the server right here, and I'll need to create a new page. So right inside our views folder right here, I'm going to click on new page, and I'll call this login.ejs. This login will have a lot of the same stuff from our template right here. So I'm going to copy our header, copy that, put in here, and we also need the footer, right? See how easy it is to create a new page here. I just include these, and then everything I add inside the middle right here. So I'm going to create a form, action equals login. I'm going to direct it to a new login route right here, a route page where we can process it. Method equals post. Let's close up the form. And inside this form, I'll have an input, type equals email, name equals email input. I like to call my inputs with, the name of what I'm collecting because it's an input type, but you can name this anything you like. And I'll have a placeholder too, to let them know what they should enter in here. I'm going to have them enter in an email address. If you do username, you can put username like that and it'll show up, but I'm going to use email for this login. Then we'll have another input type of password, name equals pwd input, short for password, and placeholder equals password. And last, I'll need a submit button, type equals submit, and I'm going to use my Bootstrap right here to give it a button class of button primary to give it a nice button look. I'm going to call it login/button, and this is just basic HTML. But if you're wondering why the type is password right here, when you're using password, if you use a type of password, everything entered in, it will only show as asterisks when you enter in the password. That way it won't show to everyone what they're actually typing. So that's how it works. Right now I'm going to wrap this around a div, give it a class, login form, just to make it look nice. And same thing in here, I'm going to give it some classes. Class equals user input, class equals pass input, div, and this I'm just going to align using HTML line center. So let's close these up, div, there we go. So inside of my style sheets right here, I added some styles for my login for these classes right here. I have a class, login form, user input, and all these, and I styled these up. But before I run this, we will need to create a route for our login because I'm directing it to /login. If we look at our drop down menu right here, when I click on this, it's going to direct it to /login. So I need to create a route for that. So let's go back here, and I'm going to reuse this users.js. This was added in here by default when we created our template. I'm not using this user, so I'm just going to rename it. Right here, rename. I'm going to call this login. There we go. And now I'm going to do a response.render. And I'm going to render our new login.ejs that we just created right there, the HTML page. And let's give it a title, login. Close that up. And so now we can load our page here. I'll run the server npm start. Oh, you know what? One thing I forgot. I need to add our login to our app. Let's go back to the app right here. Anytime you create a new route, you have to add it here. So I'm going to copy this, and this will be login. And we also need one down here, login. Okay, so we can close this up, and now I can run the server. npm start. Let's go to our server here and refresh. And now if I click on this login, see, it has a login page here now. And you know what I'll do? I'm going to add a title right here so that we know we're inside our login page. Let's go back here. Let's do h2 class equals page title. And we have a variable called title. So there we go. Save that and refresh, and there we go, login. So you see right here, I can collect an email address, password to log in. But we have an issue right now because we have no logins. I haven't created any logins inside our database. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a link down here. You've seen this on every login page. It will say if you don't have an account, create a new account. That's what I'll do right now. Stopping the server, and right down here, just going to line this. Going to give it a link, an A link, and this will be /login. We're going to use our same login route so that we can create a new account, and I'm going to call it new account, new-account, and this will say no login, create a new account. So we need this new page right here. Let's go back to our views folder here and create that new page. It will be called new account.ejs. So same exact thing. I'm going to copy almost all of this, copy it inside the new account, and then we'll just change this up a little bit because we're collecting the same information to create a new account, username, password. And so I'm going to direct now for the new account to login/new, so that when they submit this form, it's going to go to a new route. We're going to create that. See right now, when they go to the login page right here, that route is right here. It's getting that initial login. Now for this new one, I'm going to do a post on that, and we'll create a post route in here. So I'm going to add in a couple more things right here. I'll do a span class equals required, just to let them know that these fields are required. Asterisk required. Then I'll copy this and I'll put it down here as well. And then for this submit button, instead of saying login, it's going to say create account. Now since we're inside the create new account, we don't need this new account link anymore. I'll direct them back to the login. So I'll say right here, already have an account, log in here. And this will just go back to login. So there we go. I noticed I didn't end the A here. Okay, so we have this set up. We have our new account page set up. That's going to the new. Let's just see how it looks like right now. npm start. And then we'll do the routing around it. So once again, here's the home page. If I click on login, it's a login. But we don't have a login right now. No login, create new account. I click on that. Oh, I forgot to route it. Let's go to our login right here. And I'm just going to copy this because it's also a get. And this is going to new account. Just like right here where this link is going. See? New account. That's the route. So we're creating a new route for that. And we're going to render the new account page now. New account. With a title of new account. Okay, that looks good. Let's save that and stop the server, npm start. Now it should route it to our new page. So once again, clicking on the login page right here, we need to create a new account. Click on that. So there we go. We are in our new page for a new account. Each one of these are required: email, password, and then we submit it. But let's say if we came to this page by accident, new account, and it'll say, oh, you already have an account. Well, you can log in here, and it goes right back. So let's create the code for this where we're going to create a new account. First, we're going to do this, then we'll log in. So let's go back here. And it'll be inside of our login.js. So to get started with this, I need two new things. I need Bcrypt and sessions because I'm going to create an encrypted password and we're going to keep them logged in using sessions. So we're going to do npm install Bcrypt and express -session. So let's install that. So the first thing I want to do is to set up our sessions, and we have to do that inside the app.js. So go back to the app.js, and up here we will include var session equals require express session right here. Now we have to have the app use it. So app.use session. Now using a session, you need a secret password. So secret like that. And I'm going to create my session secret. Secret. I'll do that in a minute, by putting the session secret inside of my env file, the same place that we keep our database info, our login info and all that. And that's where you want to keep it. So it will be inside of process.env, and then the variable will be called session secret. And then you also have save uninitialized right there, and that is false, and resave false. Go ahead and open up your .env file, and what you're going to add in there is, it will be like this. I already added it. It's called session underscore secret equals, and then you have to give it, your secret word. So give it your own session secret, whatever you want to give it, like that. I just called mine like Eagle Fang, and that'll be inside of your .env file. Okay, you want to create that variable session, and then we just include it right here. So I've already done that. We have our session set up right here. I'll close that up, and we're back inside the login.js file. And inside of login right here, I want to include our new bcrypt, var bcrypt equals require bcrypt. I'm also going to use our database schema, so var schemas equals require /models/schemas. There we go. So let's create this new route right here. Like I said, from our form here, we're creating a new user, is directing it to login new. So that's what I have to create right here, router.post. It's a post on it, and it's going to be /new. This is going to be an async function here. Required response, arrow function, and that. And also, I forgot, I also need to include our body parser. So var body parser equals require body parser, because we're going to grab the input fields from our body. So let's grab that right now. Let email equals require.body.email input. Let password equals require.body. What did I call it? PWD input. Right here, PWD input. Okay. Now, if email is not equal to empty and password is not equal to empty, then I'm going to process this. I don't want them to submit an empty form. You guys can do a better checking on this. I'm just doing it very basic right now. And we're going to let users equals schemas.users. Let query equals, I'm going to query our database to see if the email exists. So I'm going to query against the email field with our email that we grabbed here. So I'm checking if that email exists. So let's do our query here. Let users search equals await users.find1. I want to find one that fits that criteria. I want to find to see if an email exists. Then async, it's going to return the data for us. And if data is empty, if there's no data, then I want to add the user, because that means that we didn't find anyone. Now this is where Bcrypt comes in, right? Password encryption. We're going to let salt rounds equals 10. You have to create this salt for the password generator. Let password salt equals await, and we're going to do a bcrypt dot generate salt rounds. Right here, we're giving it 10 rounds. Async air salt. It's going to return our salt for us, and we can only move ahead if we got our salt generated. And then we're going to do password hash equals await bcrypt. We're going to hash it out. We're going to hash out our password right here that the user entered in, along with the salt. Async error hash. Now that we have both the salt and the hash, we can create the account. Let account equals email, the user's email that they entered in, The password is the new hashed password that we just encrypted right here. And I'm also giving it a level in here, user. So this comes in handy if I'm going to have different access levels, like if they're an admin or just a regular user, you know. Here, watch. First I'll just have this as admin, and I'm just hard coding this for now. We can create something better next time to determine admin users and regular users. Let new user equals new schemas.users account. So right here I am inserting the new user into our database. Let save user equals await new user dot save, and that will save it to our database right here with all that information, their email, their hashed password with encryption, the level. And so after all of that, we're going to response.render back the login page, and we'll have a title login, and I'm going to have this new variable here called logged in false, and also an error message in case something went wrong. Please log in with your new account. And this error can also show me like different messages too. Like I'll pass through different messages. So you'll see in a minute, I'm going to have this thing check to see if they are logged in or not. And we're going to have error statuses for, let's say if they create this account and an error comes up, we can show errors. Or in this case, after this account has been created, I'm loading the login, the HTML page, and I'm telling them to log in. Right after they create a new account, it's going to say, please log in with your new account. Now, if they entered in an empty form here, I'll show you right here. I can pass back else. If they just simply submitted an empty form, I'm going to do a response.render the new account page, the same page that we're in here while they're creating a new account, with a title, new account, logged in is false, and error. Here's the error message. All fields are required. Please check and try again. So yeah, I'll show you how these errors come through if we post an empty form, or if they leave one field empty, like they entered in their email but they forgot to put in a password. I'm going to give them this error. I'm setting this to false because we're going to use later on. This is going to set whether they're logged in or not, and I'm going to do a session around that. Okay, so this looks good, and before I start this, I want to double check our code because I know I have mistyped things. Method post action. Okay, so let me start up the server, npm start. Let's go back here, let's load our page, and let's go to login. We're going to create a new login down here. Let's put in kodakai@gmail, egofang 2022, create account. And there we go, it went through and it brought us back to this new account page. You know what I forgot to put in is our little message down here. So let's add that in. You see how after it saved the new account, it's going to pass through this where it says please log into your new account on the login page. So let's go back to that login page. I'm going to add in these right here for the errors, or it's not really an error, it's going to be like messages. So login, down here I'm going to say %if error is not equal to null, then I want to show that error, and the if, and right here div class equals login error equals error. Now of course not all of these will be errors, but they are pretty much messages for the login, but I'm just using that variable error. So now that it's in this login page, I need to make sure that this variable here, this error, is passed through when the page loads up here as well. See up here, error. When the page loads initially, it'll just be null. And let's just do it for all of these as well. Error, null. So error is getting passed through to the login, and it's going to show here, and also on our new account page as well. So I'll just copy the same thing and put it into the new account page right up here. So let me start it up again, npm start. Just want to show you how that error comes through. I'm going to create another new account. Test 123. Create account. See how it directed us to the login page, and it's using that little message that I passed through. Please log in with your new account. And so we haven't created our login yet to check for the login, but if we check our MongoDB here, you'll see that it added those 2 users that I entered in here. Here's the email. Now if you take a close look at this password. It's fully encrypted. So you see how it looks like garbage. So that is our encrypted password. So this works right now. We have 2 users in there. So let's create our login right now to authenticate it. Okay, so if we take a look at our login form right here, same thing with the new account form. This login now, it does a post to login. Okay, it's doing a post to login. So let's go back into our login.js and we're going to do a post on here. I'll just put it right here, router.post, and it's just going to be / because this is called the login page. It's just login. It's going to be an async request response. And let's get the same email and password from the input, right? I'm going to copy that right here. We're getting it from the body. I'm going to have a new variable here called login success, because we're going to check our login, and right now it's false. We're not logged in. But if it authenticates the login and is successful, then I'll change it to true. So that's how it's going to work. I'm also going to have a session, let sesh equals request.session. We're finally using session right here, and it's inside here. We can just request our session. We already set up our session inside the app, and we gave it a secret session word. So that's all set up now. I just have to say sesh.loggedin equals false. Now you can give it any variable name here that you want. I'm calling it logged in, and I'm setting that to false right now because as they're logged in, then I'll set it to true. Now let users equals schemas dot users. I'm setting this up so that we can search to see if the user exists in the database. Let query equals searching the email still. And a lot of this is the same thing, you know, if email is not empty and if password is not empty, we want to make sure that they're entering something in. Now I'm going to find the account using the email. Let users result equals await users.find1 query. Same exact thing that we did below. Async data arrow function. I'm going to search to see if the email is in there. We're not searching email and password yet. I'm only searching to see if the email exists, because then I have to check on the password. If it did find something, then the user exists. There is an email with it, but now we need to check the password if it matches. Check if password matches. Let pass result equals await Bcrypt. Now we're using the Bcrypt compare. We're going to compare the password that the user entered up in here. We're going to compare that to data.password. So the data right here is when we search for the email address in the database, and if it finds that user, it's going to return the whole record. And inside that whole record, there is a password with it, this password field. So that's what we're grabbing, that data.password, and we're comparing those two using Bcrypt. Then is match, and you know, if it returns true on that, then it matches. If it doesn't match, then it's gonna be false. So if it matches, then okay, set sessions sesh dot logged in is equal to true, login success is equal to true. Now I'm using this login success because I'm trying to do this down here. If login success is true, response.redirect. So if they logged in correctly, it's going to redirect to the home page, and then that's where I can show more menus and more admin access. Else, if the login failed, response.render login If it failed, I'm going to render the login page again, and I'm going to tell them it's invalid. Title, login, logged in is false, error, invalid login. So right up here, if the login is success, let's say if you created a dashboard for the user to go to and it shows like their dashboard with all their admin stuff, then you can direct that to another page called dashboard or something like that, right? Dashboard. But the way I'm doing it, you'll see in a minute, after they log in, it's going to go to the home page, and then I'm going to check to see if they're logged in using the session. And if they're logged in, I'm giving them more edit options. I'm letting them modify things. They can delete, they can add accounts. So that's how I'm doing mine. And it's very slick how that works. So you'll see in a minute after it's logged in. So yeah, this one is done here. Once again, we grabbed everything with checking the email first. We don't need to check the password yet. I need to get the email. It returns the whole record with their password, the text field password of it, because I need to check our hashed password that's stored in the database. When we created the password, that's the hashed one. I need to check it with the regular text password, and it's going to use its Bcrypt compare and make sure that they match up. And then if it matches, then we keep them logged in using a session right here. And that session will be valid until they logged out, or if they close the browser, or if it expires after a certain time. So let me just update this part with our new login right here, the logged in variable. I want to make sure that it's all in here, right down here as well. I'm going to use that for every page, and I'm going to convert these to my arrow functions. I just like those more. So remove these functions here, these old school functions. Arrow function, there we go. So that looks good, and I'm going to show you how it looks like right now when we do the session. But what I want to do is to give you an example after we log in. So let's go to partials, header, open that up. And I'm going to do something right here. Remember our new menu? Like if you go to the site, you can add in a new menu right away, but I only want them to add it in if they have a login account. So that's how we're going to check it with this right here. We have our login. So since we passed through that login variable, let's say if logged in, if that is true, then we'll show this menu. Close that up. We need to take a little bit further inside of our menu.js right here. I'm also going to check to make sure they're logged in before they post something, because you can actually access this menu new page by just entering it into the URL, and it'll show you the page. But I'm going to make sure that they're logged in so that they can post something. So I'm going to do down here, let sesh equals request.session. We're going to request our session now. And I'm going to say if sesh.logged in, if not session logged in, which means if session.logged in is false, then I'm going to response.redirect them to the login page. Otherwise, I will move ahead on allowing them to create a new menu because they are logged in. So that's how I'm checking my sessions right here. I'm checking to see if they're logged in or not. If they're not logged in, they're going to go to this login form for them to log in. So let's save that. And also inside our header here, I also do want to check right here. Remember, we have a drop down where it says login or add new menu. I only want to show the add new menu. I'll put it right here. If not logged in, then show the login link. Else, we will show them the add new menu link here. And also log out. So we'll also create a logout. The logout is very easy. Call it right here, logout. And let's end this here. So if they're not logged in, it's only going to have one drop down called login. If they are logged in, they can add a new menu or they can log out. So for this logout, I don't have a logout page. See how I'm directing it to /logout? So that means I'm directing it to index.js because this one is called /login. So I have to go to index.js, and right here, since it's a get, I'll just keep it together, router.get /logout request response. And guess what? Request.session.destroy. After we destroy the session, I'm going to redirect them to the home page. So that is simply the logout. Okay, I think we have enough here. Let's see. Right there. Notice that I have a little error here. I need to close this up correctly. Close that, we close that, close that. And this else statement I need to close. There we go. So let's run this right now and see how it works. npm start. Okay, we're gonna go to the home page. Oh, there's something wrong. Logged in is not defined. Okay, like I said, I keep forgetting to do this with our logged in variable. And so I need to go to our index.js file right here. And when it logs out here, we also need it for this post search right down here. So let's declare that. Let sesh equals request.session. And then we just pass it right back in. Logged in sesh.logged in. See how I grabbed the session, the existing session, and I'm just passing it through into this variable so we can use it on the page. Now that we created a login thing with sessions, we need to add the sessions here as well. Let sesh equals request.session, and then we'll pass it right back into here. Logged in sesh.logged in. Okay, so yeah, since we're creating our login session thing, we need to keep it in here to pass it through so that we can see if they're logged in or not when they're in the home page. So I'll show you how that works right now. Let's do an npm start. We're at the home page here. Here's the login. So let's do our login. Once I click on this, it's going to go to the home page. See? It redirected after it verified that we're logged in correctly. And then look at this menu. It changed to add new menu because we are logged in. It's allowing us to add a new menu now. And then it's saying log out. So let's click on this log out. It's going to log us out. See, it went back to the home page, and then there's only a login menu because it's logged out. I should probably add some messages here that says you are now logged out or you are logged in to let people know. So that's another good thing too. So let me show you this too. I'm going to enter in just the wrong password, log in. Okay, so we don't have that working correctly here. Kodakai, log in, and it's still keeping me logged in. So I'm not logged in correctly here. Okay, back in our login.js right here, I see what I did wrong. I didn't check for this is matched right here. After we checked our login with the password to compare it, I need to say if is match. Otherwise, I'm keeping everyone logged in and I'm giving them a login session. Only if it matches that it's going to go through. Otherwise, it stays false for the login. So that is the issue with this. So let's give it another try here. Save that. Okay, let's restart up our server, npm start. Let's go to the home page here. We're going to log in. I'm going to give it the incorrect password. See, invalid login. Now let's go and log in correctly. Ego Fang. And it logged us in correctly. And I can log out. Logged out. So you see how that works with the login and sessions and everything. So I think this video is getting a little bit long now. I wanted to go further where I set up after you log in. There's going to be more links right here where you can edit, delete, and all that. So I think I'll wrap it up on the next one where I'll allow you to edit when you logged in, delete, and also, you know, you remember how we added this right here. Add new menu. You can only do this now when you're logged in. So yeah, we have everything for the login here. I'm missing the other parts where you can edit, delete, And we'll wrap that up for the next video, which will be the final one. I hope you've been enjoying this so far and this login really helped you. I think in a future video, I'll show you how to do other login authentications using Google and other social network logins. But for now, this is to help you understand how logins work with password hashes using Bcrypt and how sessions work. So I hope that was very informative here. Please give this video a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Kodakai out.